Welcome to episode 204 of Kapowcast. You got the long version today.
It's a good one.
I'm really tired.
Me too.
It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
It would be a different time if it would be the time change.
1 o'clock?
Yes. We sprung
and
forward.
I'm so tired.
We're beleaguered time travelers.
I am Mike, and joining me today is Jeff Jefferson.
Hello.
Tony is currently quarantined with the coronavirus. Too soon to joke about that?
We'll see.
Only time will tell. Today's show, we are going to be discussing and reviewing Superman Red Son, the 34th or 35th, I think.
Yeah.
DC animated film, approaching number 40 here really quick.
Look at them go.
Look at them go. Still going strong. I was but a child when these started. Not really.
I was a baby.
I lived in a basement.
I was like a blind little kitten.
I don't know where I was going with that.
Just wanted to point out that you lived in a basement at one point.
Yeah. Yep, I did. Many years ago.
So did we all.
It was crazy times. Crazy times then. But anyways, before we get to that, and speaking of DC animated features, I don't know if you were able to check out the special features on this or not, but they released a trailer for Justice League Dark, Apokolips War, which looks like it's going to be their all-star cast from the Justice League movies and the Justice League Dark and the Batman movies. It's going to be a big dark side war with, I guess, dark side. Presumably. It's kind of weird. It's going with the Justice League Dark title.
That's strange.
But it looks pretty crazy from what I've seen. It's rated R.
Wow.
So I'm kind of hoping, my big hope from this is that this is going to be the...
one where they show boobs.
Yes, finally.
And then we can finally stop watching these god-awful cartoons.
But I'm hoping this is like the send-off of this film universe.
Yeah, this combined New 52 thing that they got.
Yeah.
Skaboodling
I'm hoping that this is the send-off because it looks like it's a big to-do. And it's like, well, where do you go after that? You know?
Oh.
Nowhere.
Yeah, fast.
Too fast, too furious. No, I'm really, I'm jazzed for it. I'm all for like crazy action. If it's like anything like Justice League War was, where it was just like,
just one gigantic fight scene,
50, 60 minutes of nonstop action.
It was pretty sweet.
You know what? Sign me up for it. I'm never going to not want to watch superheroes beat the shit out of each other and supervillains. And that day comes, just put a slug in me.
I will. I swear it.
Like a literal slug.
I know.
Not like a bullet.
No, the animal, the mollusk.
Yes. No, I'm always jazzed and ready for that. The other bit, I don't know if you've seen it. Have you seen the more and more set photos and pictures are coming out of the Robert Pattinson, the Batman? Yes.
No, I haven't.
You look like you had something to say.
I just recently saw Robert Pattinson's latest movie with Willem Dafoe.
Oh, the
Lighthouse.
The Lighthouse Keeper.
Yes.
I don't know
the mystery of the riddle of the Lighthouse Keeper.
Yes. How was it?
It was fucking amazing. It was the whole thing was basically a writing exercise or acting exercise for Willem Dafoe, and he just fucking ate up the scenery. I mean, there's only him and Robert Pattinson are the only two characters in the movie, except for a mermaid.
Wait, what?
Yes, so you'll have to watch it. It's very good. There's like 5 masturbation scenes in it, and that's all I'm going to say.
What?
Yes.
I have more questions.
Also, Robert Pattinson, if he really grew that mustache, he grows a hell of a mustache. I believe it is his mustache because he has very bushy eyebrows. Really? But anyway, yeah, I'd say so. But I got a sidetracked.
Are you? Well, I mean, do you see him as something different now? Not just the
guy from Twilight.
Well,
I mean, considering I had never even seen any of the Twilight movies, I couldn't even really I'd never really seen him in anything because I haven't watched Harry Potter either. And yeah, I'd say he's got some good acting chops. He was good in this movie. I mean, he was able to keep up with Willem Dafoe. So
that rhymed.
So do-si-do.
So here are the 3 images that they released of the Batmobile.
Give me the images.
What do you think? I'm currently showing him the images.
I like it. They're definitely going for a more minimalistic.
They're saying that this is apparently going to be his second year as Batman.
Okay, that makes sense.
So no origin.
No origin. He has a car with a kid on it.
I swear to God, if I don't want to sit through another
retelling of the origin story,
another montage of his parents dying.
His poor parents.
I'm just so sick of it. Like when BVS opened with that, and I was just like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
It's out of the way. We're ready to go.
I was just like, "Come on."
Does anyone not know? It's even more overdone than Uncle Ben getting shot.
Yeah, and there's only been 2 tellings of that.
Yeah,
but it's so ingrained into pop culture. That
I'm so tired of seeing Pearl slowly fall onto the pavement
into a puddle.
Yes.
And then with Spider-Man, with the new Spider-Man, they completely were like, yeah, we're not going to do that.
He's dead.
Everybody knows what that is. They know how he became it. We don't need to dwell on it or go into it. Just watch any of the other 2 movies and
You're being morbid.
Yeah. Am I being morbid?
No. Oh. Well, our hatred of Batman and Spider-Man's origin being portrayed in film is is getting towards the point of being morbid because we hate it so much.
It's just so overly done. And
it is.
It's the same thing with Superman. Like,
yes, he came from another planet.
Yes, Man of Steel had like, and I love Man of Steel. Yeah. I really like it, but they had like the 25-minute
Krypton scene.
Krypton like origin stuff, and it's like,
to be honest, I enjoyed that because I don't know, just because I like Zod a lot, I guess, and the technology looked really cool.
Well, you did get like the great stuff with Zod. What's sully your hands?
You damn us to a black hole.
I will find him.
I will find him.
Oh, beautifully acted.
Yes, amazing.
Michael Shannon just killed
He's a lunatic.
He is.
He looks like Skeletor. Like he has a skeleton face and a big muscular body.
I hope if they ever do another live action,
yes. Masters of the Universe.
Masters of the Universe.
We have our Skeletor.
That's what I want. All I ever want.
I do hope you don't bruise easily, He-Man. I'd watch it.
Oh, anywho. Hey, we're in the midst, in the belly,
yes,
if you will, of March Madness over on our Facebook page. Special thanks to all of our sponsors over there, Throne of Toys, Clothesline Collectibles, 9 Planets, and 3 Wise Men. Thank you once again for your sponsorship and participation. Things are heating up.
They are getting heated.
I kind of had to...
You got to take a step back.
I had to kind of simmer things because I'm like, shit's getting out of control, guys. Like,
you're being mean. You're getting petty.
Yeah.
You're trying to orchestrate coups between people.
It was getting, and I was like, okay, my main thing is, and granted this may be selfish, is I didn't want the Facebook page and the post to come off like spam. Mm-hmm. Like I didn't want people to be getting spammed with all this stuff. And I'm like, all right, guys, somebody needs to cool it somewhere.
No.
But, I will say I love the passion.
Yeah, me too.
The passion and the thrill of the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Rising up
to the challenge of our rival.
Yep. There haven't been too many surprises yet. A quick recap to where we're at right now. Doctor Strange took down Spider-Man.
I was a little surprised by that.
I was a little, just because...
Pleasantly surprised.
Well, it's weird because sometimes the way these go, sometimes they go the way they
you expect.
The way you would expect.
More popular
yes.
winning.
And other times people are like, oh no, that person's more powerful. So the more powerful person wins. So
yeah.
You never know sometimes. Like Spider-Man's one of those ones where I'm like, okay, he's going to get the popular vote. Mm-hmm. Kind of like the presidential election, like
yes.
are they gonna get the popular vote or are you gonna get the electoral votes? Look at it be. Scarlet Witch took out Colossus.
I expected that.
Did you vote? Who'd you vote for?
Colossus.
Did you?
Just to be a dick.
I appreciate your candid honesty. I think the biggest shocker of the whole thing
was that Shocker wasn't even in it.
The Shocker wasn't even in it. No. Thor losing to Deadpool. Holy shit.
I wasn't shocked. I was saddened. Mm-hmm. Although I could conceivably see it happening in a fourth wall kind of way, like a plot armor Deadpool-esque way where something ridiculous happens where he would get the win. And the
big thing here is Thor won last year.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
We're guaranteed
a new winner.
A 2020 March Madness winner.
Champion.
This means nothing. We talk like it does. It legit means nothing. But in our minds, we have people that could win prizes and all kinds of stuff.
Hell yeah.
So it means something. Going to show that, and I believe that was Janelle's pick, going to show that, picking the person that won it all last year isn't necessarily a shoo-in, that they're going to go all the way this year. I don't know if that was the line of thinking. I like to think that was, because that's what I would do.
Yeah.
I'd be like, you won last year. I'm going to pick him.
What's different now? Yeah. And sorry, Janelle, I voted for Thor.
I voted for Thor, too.
Yeah, so didn't help.
I feel
we
backed the right horse.
Mm-hmm. The Norse horse.
Deadpool kind of falls in that realm of Wolverine with me, where people just latch to that healing factor. Mm-hmm. It's kind of how I feel about them. Sometimes I think how people feel about Batman.
Yes.
Where it's just like
with Brip Time and genius level intellect. And he has a contingency plan for everything.
With other people, it's like, but they have a healing factor.
He'll just heal from it.
Yeah, it's like, but no.
You silly goose.
Doesn't work that way. Anyways, in the battle of the captains, Captain America, Captain Marvel won.
Bullshit. It was a close vote, though. So
that was where the coup started to happen. Cody, Charlie, whatever you want to call him.
Carly.
We're gonna call him Carly. He didn't even push Captain. He's not even pushing his stuff. He's just kind of
yeah.
Well, whatever happens. We'll see.
Good for him.
And it's kind of funny for me and I commented, I told him this. I was like, it's funny that everybody wants to rally against the guy who isn't pushing.
Yeah.
If I were them, I would want to get out everybody else. And then, so it's me and the guy who's not pushing. Cause then then I can just push my, votes and tag people and do this and that. And while he's doing nothing, bing, bang, boom. That's my advice. I'm always I don't know.
You always advise people on how to beat Cody.
Yeah.
And anything he tries. How to foil him in all of his attempts.
How to rig polls.
Vote early and vote often.
Yes. And then we did like the DC villains last week. Bizarro beat Bane, which I was kind of surprised on that.
Well,
I'm kind of surprised Bizarro's made it as far as he has, because granted he has strength, he has no brains.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's going to catch up with him sooner or later.
Mm-hmm. Well, to be fair, what has Bane accomplished besides breaking Batman's back?
Break Batman's back.
He's a lot like Doomsday. He was a real big flash in the pan. And I know a lot of people will throw stuff out there. Oh, well, if you read his Suicide Squad stuff, no one has read that, all right? That's really cool. He's out playing with King Shark and whoever. But
well, not to mention, anytime Bane is in anything, whether it be video games, cartoons, he's always usually dispatched pretty quickly because you just cut the cord.
Yep.
Just cut the cord. You're done.
Yep. Get rid of Cable.
So I guess in that aspect, I'm not overly shocked that he lost. Oh, that's bullshit.
What?
Brainiac beat Deathstroke.
I'd give it to Brainiac.
Really?
Yeah. Isn't he like a 12th level intellect? With
probably. Okay.
With a planet busting ship?
I think that's just my favoritism.
I mean, I like Deathstroke too, don't get me wrong, but I mean, Brainiac's, cosmic level. Well, maybe not cosmic. Yeah, cosmic level. Definitely planet level threat. I mean, he's one of Superman's biggest nemesis.
Nemesis. Zod took out Reverse Flash.
Surprised me.
That surprised me a lot too. I was like, a lot of people, especially because of the Flash TV show. Mm-hmm. I feel like he's a more well-known villain than Zod.
If only it had been Zoom, then he would have won.
The thing is like people, apparently there's a general consensus is that speedsters can beat Kryptonians fairly simple. And I don't think it is that simple.
Silly geese.
Tricks are for kids.
Well, if you look at this instance, that's no longer in continuity.
And what I thought was a fairly fair fight. Ares versus Black Adam. Black Adam won.
Yeah, I'd give it. Well, I mean, compared to Marvel's Ares, I don't think DC's Ares has that much exposure. Like everyone's like, oh, he's a Wonder Woman villain, right? Yeah.
So that's where we're at now. As of right now, the poll that we have up right now, I think, is Superman versus Flash, which is funny because Zod fought Reverse Flash. So who knows how that happens? Superman's winning with a large 64% to 36%.
Take that, speedster fanboys.
Wow, Jeremy Brown's backing Superman. Chase is backing Flash.
I mean, I'm not going to say that the Flash would lose against Superman, but everyone keeps naming feats, like not like the body part, but like stuff that they've done. And it doesn't really amount to anything when, you put power set to power set, because if you just did that, then the writing would be terrible.
Yes. The only surprise I have of that one is that it's not closer. It's not closer. It's, 32 votes to 18.
Wow, that is more. I would have thought it was closer too. I wouldn't have been surprised if the Flash had won. Not only because he has a large rabid fan base, but because Superman has a large rabid group of haters.
Right on. I agree. So, Superman, we'll see how far he gets in this.
If he starts losing, he can just throw the planet into the sun.
Yes.
That's the classic Dragon Ball Z argument.
Or he can throw Flash into the sun.
Yeah, can throw Flash into the sun. He can throw the sun.
Just catch him first. Once again, special thanks to Throne of Toys, Clothesline Collectibles, 9 Planets, and 3 Wise Men for helping sponsor all the prizes that will be given away in this lovely tournament.
Hell yeah.
Of champions. Anywho, let's talk Superman Red Sun.
Yes. Speaking of Superman fighting people.
Yes. Jeff, this was an animated movie that I think you wanted to see for a very long time.
Decades.
Well,
maybe decades. No, almost 20 years.
Almost.
Like 17-ish years? I think it came out in like 2003.
I don't know much about the book. I read a little bit of it. Mm-hmm. I read some of it when the DC Universe app had it up on their thing, so I started reading it, but that was before they started putting more issues on there. Mm-hmm. So I only read, I think, maybe the first actual issue of it. So I didn't get a full experience of the book.
Yes. What you're saying is that you haven't read the whole thing.
Nope. Not at all.
The whole experience of reading it.
I did read enough to know that when the movie starts out, the book did not start out like that.
No.
Starts off when he's a boy.
Yes. In a little commune farm.
Getting picked on and gets saved by, what was it?
Svetlana.
I can't want to say Slutlana. Svetlana.
Happy International Women's Day, everyone.
Yeah. That was a few days ago.
By the time this airs, right? Or it wasn't? Who cares?
Yeah.
Not how I meant it, but I'll just go with that.
Fair enough. But yeah, he's getting picked on, and she kind of saves him. She knocks one kid on his ass.
Yeah, gives him a bloody nose.
And she's telling him, but what's his name?
I don't think did they reveal his name? Yeah, they think they did back here. Something in Russian.
Yeah, it's probably Clark in Russian.
Yeah.
But she was like, you got to start standing up for yourself and fighting. And he's like, I wasn't running because I was scared. I was running because I was worried about what I was going to do. And then he lifts like a fucking tractor entitled Superman Red Sun. And we have this glorious opening credits.
Oh, it's beautiful.
The music in this was fantastic.
Oh yeah, it was great. Like the beginning, it looks like a giant living communist propaganda poster. It looks really good. But yeah, like it's hilarious the amount of communist propaganda that's in this movie. Like, Superman, you have such great powers. You must give them to the state. The first thing she says when she finds out he has superpowers.
That would be good. Surely nothing will go wrong.
If you give Superman's powers to Stalinist Russia, you know.
So the movie jumps like a lot.
Yes.
It jumps a lot of decades, and I couldn't help but notice that he like does not age at all.
No, he did in the comics. He got gray in the temples in the comics.
That's
which
what I kept waiting.
Really cool.
That's what I kept waiting for them to do. I kept waiting for them to at least put a little gray, like maybe add a couple lines on his face, like just to age him up a little bit. But no, they never
didn't
did
have the
it.
budget to change the character model, I guess.
I guess not. They did change his costume. Did change.
Yeah,
I liked his costume so much better towards the end
with the gloves.
Yes.
And the one that looks like like a Russian premiere.
Yeah, I'm not sure which costume I liked best. I think it might have been that one.
Yeah, I'd say so too. The gloves. I love when Superman has gloves. I really like the first one too. It's a dark muted blue and the dull rust red.
Yeah,
it looks really good.
So this starts off in what
1946, and then jumps to the 50s when he's an adult.
Yes,
and he's working under the naive. What's the word I'm looking for?
Belief?
Yeah, there you go.
The naive beliefs of communism?
Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
You're welcome.
He's much like a college student in that he believes that communism could work. But yeah, actually, what I like about this movie is that it actually shows the only way the communist model could actually work if there was a superpowered man to make it work constantly instead of having it fall apart on itself like it always does.
Yes. You kind of get the little quick backstory. You know, there's still like the Cold War is brewing between the U.S. and Russia, and they're like, U.S. is like, hey man, they got this guy, and it doesn't look good because he has powers. And Lex Luthor's like, well, let me see. Lex Luthor's basically a good guy in this.
Yeah, he's like they base him basically like on Howard Hughes.
Yeah,
an industrialist, mogul, super genius scientist, Renaissance man that works with the U.S. government.
And he's married to Lois Lane in this world. And Jimmy Olsen's black.
He's black. Oh, there we go. But yeah. Jimmy Olsen, for some reason, is he's
grown adult.
He's a grown adult FBI agent who's like the government liaison to which his character was totally introduced for this movie. I believe I don't remember him in the comic.
It was
just
funny.
Strange.
It's funny, like, well, Superman's ship lands in Russia,
so now Jimmy Olsen's black.
so now
Jimmy Olsen is 20 years older and black.
Yes,
but I mean, it's just weird because like this is right smack dab into segregation days.
Yeah,
and they're all just talking to each other like there isn't this huge racial divide in America during this time.
You know, I don't want things to get too political or serious on this show ever. God
help us if it does.
help us if it does. But I couldn't help but when I was watching that, I'm thinking, and it's not the first time you see stuff like that in movies or shows where
odd, historically inaccurate multiculturalism.
Yeah, like
boy, what a multi-ethnic audience. Like when they literally were herding black people into designated sections to hang out during this during this time period in history in America.
I'm not going to say whether it's right or wrong that they ignored it.
Segregation is wrong.
Well, no. That's not what I was getting at. I was going to say, I don't want to say it's right or wrong that like stuff like this ignores that was happening and they just input like, a black character there that's, hanging with the right people and just, equal to everybody else in this time period when that wasn't the case.
No. I mean, I think it does a disservice to history to ignore it for the sake of inclusivity, which is like a weird, like circular backbiting.
You can't ignore the mistakes and
you shouldn't.
Stuff of the past.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be ignored, but
I mean, they even bring it up. Like they bring up racism, slavery, social injustice quite a bit. It's one of the underlying themes is, the flaws in capitalism, Superman pointing them out constantly while he ends up building a worldwide communist dictatorship.
Yes. He does have Lex Luthor makes it so there's a satellite falling on the city. Superman comes and saves it. He's like, I'm not here to hurt the people.
It's pretty good.
Thank you.
His voice acting was all right. It was a very forced Russian accent, I thought. All the Russian accents were pretty bad, but his voice actor wasn't a bad actor, but his accent wasn't great.
And basically Lois, he ends up meeting with Lois and she gives him this file that's like, hey man,
you got these things called gulags going on over there in Stalintown.
This is your perfect world. Look what they're doing. So he ends up going to where they're, basically slaves and all this
dissident
other stuff.
Prisons, forced labor.
He finds Svetlana.
You definitely said Svetlana.
No, I didn't. And then there's a boy he finds there. A boy.
Yes.
A small boy.
With two dead parents. Who's like, what does he say? They say that you can hear a leaf fall from 1,000 miles.
And why didn't you hear us,
hear our cries, yeah.
And then bats fly off in the background. You're like,
oh, that's going to be the Flash.
Yep. That's what you said. You're like, that's the Flash. And I was like, I see it. I get it. It makes sense.
But yeah, that also wasn't in the comics.
No?
I don't believe so. Batman just kind of shows up during one of the time jumps, like where they jump ahead into the 60s.
And Batman's a interesting character.
He's a anarchist terrorist in this. He's like Ted Kaczynski or like the Unabomber or something, except for a lot cooler with ear flaps.
Yes, with an ear flap hat and bad ears.
But yeah, we're jumping ahead a little bit. After he defines the Gulag, he confronts Comrade Stalin. Stalin basically just, tells him, it's everything I've done is for the good of the people.
You got to break a few eggs to make an omelet.
That's right.
That's what he says. And he does. He goes, puts his hands up like, sorry.
Come on, I had to do it to him.
Womp, womp, womp.
So he says that for the sake of the government to run the way it does, some people have to die or something along those lines. And Superman, like, wise words. And then he fucking blows him up with his eye beams. He's like, ah!
He does. First time I've ever seen Stalin disintegrated ever.
Hopefully it won't be the last.
Hopefully. I will campaign for more Stalin disintegration in my DC animated films.
Just have it in every opening credits of every film.
Just sneaking out in there.
So Superman becomes the absolute ruler of the United Soviet Socialist Republic.
Russia.
Starts ruling it with basically a father knows best dictatorship.
Oh, you went with the USSR. That's what that
Yep. And then history starts getting all weird and skewed. America starts falling into decline. Superman,
which will never happen.
Never. America first. But yeah, he ends the truce in the Korean Peninsula by conquering it, declaring it under his rule where everyone can prosper. Starts lobotomizing people that don't agree with him politically or socially.
Nothing wrong there.
Nothing wrong with that. He starts going all Injustice basically before Injustice came out.
Yeah.
This was written by Mark Miller, who really likes dystopian versions of superhero stories because he did Old Man Logan. He did The Ultimates. Ugh. And he's done a ton of stuff that, like other stuff I can't even remember. He's famous for some stuff that's outside of the big two. He's really big on dystopian versions of famous stories, and some of them are better than others. This, I think, was probably his best work.
In an effort to compete with the USSR, is that what you referred to?
United Soviet Socialist Republic.
Yep. The U.S. decides to make a clone of Superman, Superior Man.
He was awesome. I loved him.
He was awesome for what few minutes he was in it.
First thing he said, his first line is "America first." Yes. He's basically like a parody that's straight out of like the Fallout series or something.
Yeah.
He looks like the old 1930s cartoon Superman. His uniform looks a lot like that.
Yep.
Has a U.S. on his chest.
The weird U.S. shield.
It looks awesome. And a flat top because he's American.
Yep. America likes it high and tight.
That's right. Yeah, they do. But so there's a really weird, awkward scene where when he meets Wonder Woman, he tries to make out with her. She's like, I'm a lesbian. He's like, oh, thank goodness. What? Oh, I don't really want sex or anything. It would interrupt my work. I'm like, none of this was in the comic.
None of this makes sense.
Yeah, it was very strange. So we know for a fact that in the Red Sun universe, Wonder Woman's a lesbian. And Superman's asexual.
Yep, I was going to say Superman's some sort of weird eunuch.
Whereas in the comic, I think it was heavily implied that they had a romance.
Got to change it up.
Yeah, I guess.
She kind of gives him the whole, she's like, I grew up on an island of all females.
Yep, you figure it out.
And he's like, oh, shit.
He's like, oh.
You're one of them lesbians.
That's how he says it.
Yep, exactly how he says it.
So then she drives away in the car, and like 10 seconds later, Superior Man shows up, starts wrecking the place.
Yeah, they kill some people.
But thankfully, Wonder Woman's already driven a mile away, so she can't interrupt or help out in any way.
No.
It was very odd pacing in that.
Lex Luthor keeps having them up the power level of Superior Man.
He's great.
He charges up like Goku.
Yeah.
There's lightning all over, and he's like, motherland.
He keeps, Superman tells him to surrender. Like, I'll never surrender to a commie dictator like you. And, it's hilarious. It's awesome.
It's everything that Jeff believes in.
Yep. I am truth. I am justice. I am the American way. So as they're fighting, it becomes more and more evident that he's Bizarro because the power is distorting his physical features.
He can't talk right.
Starts talking. It's ironic you had a stroke while you were saying that.
Whoa.
Up the power. But yeah.
And then he turns into like a weird globby man.
Yeah, he melts. And they kind of cement the fact that Luthor's... Well, no, they kind of go into the direction that he's not exactly a good person, but then they just kind of never really bring it up again.
Yeah, they're like, just kidding. He's actually not a bad bloke.
Like this movie keeps on saying that Luthor's 10 steps ahead, which was a theme that was implied in the comics, but not so like where you wouldn't even that there was never a shadow of a doubt that Luthor was going to win.
Yeah, for sure. I see it. I get it. Jumps forward a couple more times.
Yeah.
And then we do finally get introduced to Batman.
Yeah, he's great.
He blows up a museum
Full of women and children,
Full
which
of-
I don't believe happened in the comics either.
Yeah,
he didn't
he's-
explicitly murder people like that.
He's a true madman.
Yeah.
Well, and, we kind of gloss over the fact before this. They kind of gloss over like Superman fighting Brainiac.
Yeah.
And he reprograms him to serve the Russian people, and that's kind of where he gets the whole like, yeah, let's just lobotomize people
Yep.
and make them
Super docile.
yeah. But
Which is also what the Justice Lords did.
yes, Superman is or Batman is completely fucking crazy in this.
Yep, he's a literal anarchist. He just wants to destroy he wants to topple any form of government existing in Russia at the time because he's seething with hatred.
Yep.
And he's great. He's a great character. I like him a lot.
For what little bit he's in it, because he's not in it super long.
He wasn't in the comic either. In fact, they didn't introduce him until he was already an adult. They just kind of introduced his origin in a sentence or two. Like I think they just mentioned that his parents were killed in the gulags, which is perfectly fine when you introduce someone. Like,
Yeah.
why do you need to reintroduce? Like, we get it. He's Batman.
Well, you got to understand where he's coming from in this world.
Yeah.
Apparently, in this world too, just because Superman's rocket got skewed, the Waynes shifted from countries to from the U.S. Which would tell me that the timeline's already fucked up.
Yeah, it's very different over there. Well, you already know because, Superman landed there in the 30s. Or yeah.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, well, in order for the Waynes to have, well, I guess I can't assume it's the Waynes, but for them to be in Russia now, something in the timeline would have to have been skewed before the rocket.
Considerably.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking it.
Could be.
Probably.
Could be just another person. Who knows? It's an Elseworld story.
Yeah. Superman ends up falling into a trap of Batman's where he has Wonder Woman bound by the lasso of truth.
Yep.
In a very
kinky. Forced to submit. Some classic Wonder Woman stuff. I liked Wonder Woman's communist bloc inspired uniform. It had a two-headed eagle, like something on the Albanian flag or something. It was cool. And then she's starting to go off, about men and how they ruin everything and how they're all alike and just yeah. Like this movie, a lot of the nuance and a lot of the implications that were very subtle in Mark Miller's book are just slapped over your head in this movie over and over again. Like they just assume that you're an idiot and you have to just be.
Well, we are watching cartoons.
Yeah, true. They just beat you over the head with the message over and over again without any hint of subtlety.
Using subtle context, which is much more appreciated.
Yeah.
But Batman tricks Superman into a red sun room.
Yep. Beats the fuck out of him.
He does.
Like for 5
Holy
minutes.
shit. He goes full like Ralphie Scott Farkas.
Frackin'.
When he was on top of him, and that's all that was going through my head as Batman's going, you frackin'. One of them was like, did you hear what he just said? And he cried after he was done.
Yep. Not to his mom, though.
No. Well, in a weird, like, I don't know if this was in the book or not, because obviously I didn't get that far. But in an odd, move, Batman like has him beat. And he's like, all right, I'm just going to throw you in this room and let you suffer.
Yeah, which was strange.
Which is like, just fucking kill him, man. Like at that point, like,
yeah, when you're already.
This Batman's already shown that he's not afraid to just fucking indiscriminately murder.
Yeah, men, women, and children. Like, yeah, the fact that they did that kind of made it inconsistent too.
Did that didn't happen? It didn't happen that way in the book, or you don't?
I think that he did still plan to trap him.
Oh, but he wasn't like a crazy murderer.
He wasn't a mass murderer.
Yeah.
Not as such. Well, he definitely didn't just, say, did I say 10 minutes? I meant 10 seconds.
That's another thing. Before Batman blows up the museum, he tells them that they have 10 minutes to get out before he blows it up. And then like he almost instantaneously just blows it up. He's like, 10 minutes? Did I say 10 minutes? I meant 10 seconds. And I'm like, well, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Batman. Holy shit.
So Wonder Woman ends up breaking out of the lasso, which like makes her look all old.
And like stroked out. Like her face was sagging.
I don't know what was up with that.
Nobody knows. It was very strange.
I know she's mentioned that her life force was connected to the lasso.
Yeah.
So
I guess.
I don't know.
So that part was in the comic too. And then, she, she destroys the red sun room generator, allowing Superman to break out. And he tells him he's going to lobotomize him, have him work at a laundromat. And Batman blows up a bomb in his body and splatters all over the both of them.
I would like to watch that in like slow mo because you kind of see his body. You do see him like
erupt.
And that's the end of Batman in this scene.
He went out with a bang.
Blows himself up like some sort of weird fucking Unabomber.
Yep. And then
suicide bomber. That's what it is.
There you go.
Thank you.
Wonder Woman then berates Superman for being a dictator like he wasn't for the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
And she says, I'm going to fly to Themyscira. This is the last time I'll ever see you again until later in the movie for no reason.
Which we had.
No reason. So stupid. So out of place. Like
that like fell apart totally so much.
Totally threw me out of the film. Mm-hmm. So anyways, it skips ahead to the...
Oh, wait, is it the 80s or?
I think it was still in, was it in the 70s or 60s still when Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps?
Well, Kennedy was president.
Yeah, so it would have been the 70s, like early 70s.
Yeah.
Late 60s.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
But then, well, no, it was the 80s because they mentioned the formation of it. We're going to form an entire new branch of the military.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, it goes ahead to the 80s by then. So,
What?
yeah, who cares? So Superman's communist utopia struggling a little bit after Alexander Luthor becomes president of the United States.
A new bald Alexander Luthor.
Yep. He was a ginger at first.
And now he's a bald.
And he solved all of America's problems and made a capitalistic utopia just to say fuck you to communist Superman, which was the big, like, in this movie, his motives aren't really made, clear in the...
Is there a lot of story that's to tell for Red Son that they just kind of had to...
Condense, yeah. I mean, Red Son was a pretty short book, and they actually did some stuff to fluff this out. There's some nuances that were missed, like Lex Luthor became president and, like, solved all of America's problems when it was on the verge of collapse, just to say fuck you to Superman because he hated his guts. He was much more Luthor-like.
Right, and this he's much more likable.
Yeah, he's more benevolent. He's like a Mad Men-esque workaholic who just absorbed in his work. He reminds me a lot of Tony Stark, actually.
Yeah.
Or Howard Stark, even.
Right.
A lot like Howard Stark.
Well, Howard Hughes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You mentioned like how the communist empire he built is kind of collapsing, and he shows him having a conversation with Brainiac, and Brainiac's like, listen, the only thing you can do is you can go invade the U.S. Like, otherwise, you're fucked, man. Line for line. And Superman at first is like, and then he's like, all right,
okay.
I guess I'll do it. So he's starting to head over there, and then he gets stopped by this new army, Green Lanterns.
Yeah, they're great. I love their outfits.
And they have a pretty good fight going on. He actually knocks the shit out of Guy Gardner. I'm pretty sure he killed him.
Yeah.
I'm fairly certain he killed him.
He probably killed him. Yeah, it looked really cool. Like, they're making it was very Air Force like, because like they're flying around making jet noises as they flew. Their rings were shooting out what looked like tracer fire coming from an aircraft cannon. And
what I thought was really cool is they had Jon Stewart, and the person that did his voice in Justice League, the
Phil
animated
Lamar,
series,
yeah,
he did his voice in this too. So I was like, oh, that's
cool.
Nice,
yeah. And they had radar, like green radar scopes detecting that Superman was coming by. It was cool. It was really cool. The fight was good. They started encasing him in multiple green square force fields and they all had to focus at the same time for him not to be able to escape.
And they were shrinking it. They
were just about to crush his head and pinching your head. And then Wonder Woman shows up out of nowhere and
for no fucking reason.
Yeah, and then she comes to say, you need to stop fighting or else. And then Superman goes to punch her in the face for some reason. And then she blocks it. And then he's like, come on. And then she's like, I'm leaving forever. For real this time. And then she, guys. And then she leaves, and then the fight just starts again, and Superman beats. It was so weird.
It was really,
it totally ruined the pacing of the film. It made no sense.
Like, I thought she was going to show up and she was going to be like, listen, you both have to stop fighting.
Yeah.
Stop this shit. And they were going to stop fighting, and then we'd wrap up the movie, yada, yada, yada. But nope, she's just like, hey, all right, I'm going to leave again.
Yes.
See ya. You remember everything I told you like 10 years ago? I'm telling you it again.
Yeah. Now goodbye again.
Now goodbye again.
For real this time.
Yeah, for real. All right, I'm not going to text you later. Bye.
But yeah, it was bad. Really bad. The worst part of the movie, I feel. I think the only reason they put it in there because they didn't want Wonder Woman to go out on a weak note, which is exactly what happened in Red Son, to demonstrate, that all of his friendships and alliances that he built together were flawed and skewed because he was
a madman.
A madman, yeah. He was a communist madman.
So he basically ends up. So the fight continues, and instead of the Green Lanterns going back to what they were doing,
they just go.
They're like, fire guns at him and shit, and they're like. No, and he just proceeds to pummel and I'm assuming presumably kill all of them, I think.
Yeah, or just leave them in the ocean where they got eaten by sharks.
Yes. And so he makes his way to the White House.
With Brainiac in tow.
And Lois comes out with the shrunken city.
Which made no sense.
I don't know how they got that.
No one does. I mean, they don't even explain how. He's just like, how did you get the city? And then...
like, Lex Luthor's always 10 steps ahead.
And then, you could have grown this city anyways, but it's just what you always wanted, isn't it? Like, it was very, ham-fisted version. It was entirely, or very different from what happened in the comics.
Yeah.
In the comics, there's one of the most iconic scenes ever in a comic, really, where the ultimate weapon to use against Superman was a letter. And the letter said, why don't you put the whole world in a bottle, Superman? Which made him realize what he'd been doing the entire time instead of, here, this is a physical representation of what you're doing this entire time that we stole somehow. And you had the power to undo it, but you didn't because you're just such a dick. And it was just, very ham-handed.
So, and then you find out Brainiac wasn't reprogrammed. He was just kind of playing along, and he tries to kill Superman.
And then Superman
and Lex Luthor team up, and they beat Brainiac, and everyone's happy.
And Superman presumably died, but then he didn't.
Because you see him in the crowd. He's He's going to live a peaceful life among the Americans.
Yep.
In the capitalist country. Capitalism wins.
Hell yeah.
Again.
America first.
So yeah, I mean, it was a good watch. I got a little sleepy
Yeah.
Got a little sleepy during it.
It had pacing issues for sure.
Yeah.
They like peppered in a couple of fight scenes. Bizarro wasn't even, the superior man wasn't in the comic like that. He was only seen in a few panels as one of the failed super weapons that Lex used against Superman. And he looked cool in the comic, like really cool. Mm-hmm. But yeah, overall, I would say it was an enjoyable watch. If I hadn't read the comic, I'm like, oh, that was good. A couple weird parts. You can definitely tell when they deviated from the comic.
Right.
But overall, I would still say worth a watch, an enjoyable watch. The animation wasn't bad. The voice acting's kind of jarring because all the Russian accents are bad.
Fake.
Yes.
Like for some reason couldn't cast any real Russians.
I know, it's so weird.
How does that happen?
I don't know. Like, do they not know any? I don't get it.
They
just use the same group of people, I guess. But yeah, overall, worth a watch. I would say I would give it 7.5 disillusioned college students out of 10.
I thought you were going to go with a Bernie Sanders.
I nearly did, but it was low-hanging fruit.
I enjoyed it. I got a little sleepy, like I said, but I think it was because my dog was laying on me. If you guys have ever owned a dog or an animal of any kind, really, like a cat,
alligator,
a
walrus,
snake, a walrus, a hermit crab. When they lay on you, you tend to, no matter if you're not tired or not, you tend to just like start to be like, all right, well, I'm really cozy now. I'm going to start falling asleep.
It's because they steal your breath.
They do. Oh.
Like in Cat's Eye.
But I enjoyed it, and it was the first DC movie that I actually watched. I'm like, okay, I'm actually going to pick this one up, I think, in a while, because we've been watching them off Vudu, and legally, I might add. And I'm like, you know what? I actually think I may pick this one up. Like I wasn't as mad as I was after watching like Batman Hush.
Yes.
Like I wasn't as infuriated. Like, Jesus Christ, they fucked that up.
Yeah. Like how I felt when I watched Reign of the Superman.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's another one you didn't really like.
They didn't involve this in their fucking weird combined universe.
Yeah.
Which is good because it would have ruined it.
Yeah. Yep. I agree 100%.
It would have made no sense.
It definitely had that more Bruce Timm style of animation to it, which
the animation I liked.
Yeah, was very endearing to it. So I would give it 7.5 out of 10 hard force-fed messages out of 10.
Oh. Out of 1 billion.
Yep.
I hated it.
Yep. It was good. I think it's worth a watch, especially like I'm a sucker for always like alternate takes on characters.
Me too.
I always love it. And I always love it when they like tease showing another character. Like, oh, I want to see what that character looks like. Or I want to see what that character looks like.
I know. Could you imagine Batman's Rogues Gallery?
Oh my God.
A bunch of crazy fucking Russians.
Yes. That's what I want. A separate telling of what Batman was doing throughout the years leading up to that.
He would have been pretty young.
Yeah.
Like he was probably in his 20s when Superman was in his 40s.
Yeah. That's wild. And he showed no aging. That also took me out of it.
Yeah, he looked a lot cooler in the comic when he had gray streaks.
Yeah.
Superman always looks best with gray streaks.
Kingdom Come.
Yeah, man. Fucking Superman from Batman Beyond.
He did have, you're right, he did too.
He looked awesome.
You might be onto something.
Superman from Earth 2.
He's got to have the Reed Richards.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I liked it. I think it's worth a watch. I think you should all check it out.
Yes. I recommend reading the comic too, because it's way better. But this is good too. Mm-hmm. A good effort at making it an animated adaptation.
I agree. I can't wait for Justice League Dark. I hope that one's Justice League Dark Apokolips War. I'm sorry. That one hopefully will be really good.
So this is the third Justice League Dark, or is the one just a Constantine movie?
I think the one's just a Constantine movie. Yeah. So I think this is the second.
Confusing.
Yeah, whatever.
Cool. Yeah.
It is what it is. We'll review it. We'll watch it. We'll talk about it.
Probably love it.
Probably. I think that'll do it for this week's edition. Time flies when you're having fun, man.
Yeah. Time flies when you're laughing at communism.
Special thanks to all of our Patreons who are participating in our March Madness tournament. Janelle Kozlowski, Angel Doty, Charlie Robbins, Jeremy Brown, Christy Vance, Chase. You just Chase. Just Chase. Thank you guys to all of your donations, and I hope you're all enjoying March Madness. I hope you're all having fun. Don't get too crazy. Don't get too worked
sexy.
up. Don't get too sexy. But yes, a lot of fun. And once again, I want to say special thanks to our sponsors over there at the March Madness, Throne of Toys, Clothesline Collectibles, 9 Planets, and 3 Wise Men. Thank you for your support in us doing this. It's much appreciated.
Hell yeah.
Hells yeah. Be sure to check the show out every week on the Pod Rose Podcasting Network, where you can find our show and some other great shows. We're also over on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Stitcher Radio, wherever podcasts are really listened to and enjoyed. We also have a YouTube channel with tons of toy reviews and stuff going up. I think Yellow Ranger Lightning Collection review should be up by now or will be up soon, so keep an eye out on that. Also, click those affiliate links down below that point to my dick. You can click the affiliate links over
Keep
for
this
Amazon.
Little capitalist enterprise running.
Yeah, hell yeah. For Amazon and Entertainment Earth, where you could buy some great stuff, toys, and all kinds of fun things. Pop figures, if that's your bag.
Hell yeah.
Yep. We also have our website where you can find everything at kapowcast.net. It's your one-stop shop for all things Kapowcast. You also get shirts and all kinds of stuff over on TeePublic. Koozies. I'm pretty sure they have koozies. Hoodies, stickers, magnets, How do they work? Buy one. Find out. It's the only way.
I've always wondered.
Me and you both, man. Me and you both. And I think that it is about all of our plugs for the week. Hopefully, Tony will be back with us next week. Hopefully, he's cleared of coronavirus.
Hopefully, it's not Tony and the evil communist Tony.
Oh, my God. Alternate Tony. Oh. Until then, I am Mike.
And I'm Jeff.
Take care. Bye-bye. And hail the motherland.